Hello lovely people, how are we? I hope you're keeping well. Today we are talking about healthy mind, healthy body, or strong mind, strong body. I'm not entirely sure. Wow, I really look like a pea head in this camera. I hope that doesn't translate. Anyway, so today, random aside there, I wanted to talk to you about healthy mind, healthy body, and it's something that has very much come to the fore of late because I need to get my body back to being healthy and strong again. It's on its way to being strong, but it needs to go back to being healthy as well. So I probably should quantify that in some way, shape or form. By that I mean, since coming back to England from Bali, I have put on about a stone weight. Seriously, I put on 11 pounds. Because we were in Bali, I was doing yoga every day, and we were walking for miles every day and not eating processed, well, I don't eat processed food as much, but I've definitely been eating more crisps than I should, and more sugar than I should, and more desserts than I should. So I need to really get myself back on track, and my body very much gave me a reminder. Recently I was ill for about a week with an upset tummy and sore throat and all that kind of jazz. Probably because I've been having too much gluten, too much dairy, too much sugar. Yes, my body reminds me of this on a regular basis and then I seem to forget. But I thought now is a good time to kickstart everything off again with this little series, and we can check in with each other every month. So if there's anybody else out there that needs to reset their body a bit, let's do this together, people. I'm going to give you a bit of a backstory as well. So while I'm just playing with things, while I was in Bali, I very much had the chance to connect with my body again. Check out that for some hippie nonsense right there. But what I mean by that is a downstairs neighbour brought me along to a yoga studio towards the second half of our trip, and from there I ended up going to yoga pretty much every day, and that very much has to do with the strong mind bit. So as I've talked about on numerous occasions before, I have had issues with my mental health, and I have always worked through them and helped myself, etc. With a bit of CBT, a bit of just talking it out, and a bit of just working through it, I think. But there's still a lot there, and there's still a lot I'm still working through, because it was a bit of a traumatic old time of it lately, and I just didn't have very good coping mechanisms in place. So I held on to a lot of that hurt and a lot of resentment and anger and whatever, you know, that kind of jazz. So while I was going to yoga, I would go every day, and some days, I don't know, some days it was just really restorative and really kind to myself. And on one occasion in particular, I had my yoga moment or breakthrough or whatever. I had that connection because I've always gone to yoga for years, on and off, for at least, we're talking a decade here, longer than I've known Simon, so longer than a decade. But I've always done it as exercise, more about stretching and strengthening my body and muscle and all that kind of jazz, and that's really good. And if that's your cup of tea, that's really good. But there's a whole other layer to yoga that I never really quite got, like the whole side of things, I guess you'd say, or you know, the whole spiritual side. Like, it's not my bag. But in saying all that, so I went along to the studio, and they play really good music, so it resonates really well, and really good teachers, and you are there. The classes are at least an hour long, and it's really warm. And you know, I was on holidays of a sort, so it's a different environment, etc. So I came out of an online meeting, and I was angry, and it was over petty stuff, and it was my issues, nobody else's, but I was angry for various reasons, and I came off and I was all frustrated and pent up and because it harped back to previous experience, I guess, and it dragged that stuff up. So I was a bit resentful and angry, like I said, and I was like, I'm going to yoga. So it was quite actually like that. I was all stompy and, you know, childhood behaviour. Stomped off to yoga and got into the class. I was a wee bit late into class. I got in, I was late out of the meeting, so I was late into class, so I was annoyed about that. Yeah, I was behaving like a 2-year-old. Got in, and it was the first time I had been ever able to connect my breath with the movements. I've always been able to breathe in and out as you're doing stuff, but I'd sometimes restrict my breath so I could push that stretch a wee bit more and that kind of jazz. But in this particular class, it was interesting because I ended up crying my way through most of it. Not like, but weeping, just silently just weeping. and it sounds rather ridiculous and it's probably pretty embarrassing to tell people, but I think I should share these things so you have it. So yes, worked my way through the class, going through all the movements, and I properly focused in on my breathing. It is something I've been trying to practice and get better on because it's better for your mind as well as your whole body, just to open up and to take that really big deep breath. And it's something I've always been a bit pants at, if I'm honest. I've always been really poor at it. I've never been able to take the deep breath fully because I would always keep something clenched. I would always clench up my tummy, or I didn't want that wobbly bit hanging out, or you know, this kind of carry on. So I took a massively deep breath and I felt everything and I let it all out. And when I started to breathe deeply and let it all out, everything came out. But I tend to practice yoga with my eyes closed for majority of the time. So I didn't really care that people could see me or not. And I was in the front of the class to the top right of the corner, so nobody could really see me anyway. You know, couldn't see my face, so to speak. But it was the first time I had that proper moment where I got it, and that yoga helped me in such a fashion that I was able to let go of all the resentment and all of the anger. And I just decided at that point, I was like, I'm just letting go, it's done, it's fine. And that came with practicing my yoga. I've been practicing it for weeks before, so it took a wee while to get to that point, and for me to be able to focus in on the breathing. So it wasn't just a case of I went to a yoga class, I was able to move, and then suddenly I had this revelation. No, it's something that came around from weeks of doing daily practice, and being in an environment that allowed that to happen. So I'm aware not everybody's going to be fortunate enough for that to be able to happen. But in saying all of that, I would highly recommend finding, if you can, finding a yoga class that you can go to. In this case, it was a dedicated yoga studio, and the people teaching it were full-on yoga instructors. And because the class was an hour long and it was all about movement, and they really did help focus in on your breathing, and you know, there was no yoga teacher will ever push you into particular positions, but each class was different and it was all very much dependent on what the instructor felt like, as you would with any class. But certain instructors, I think, freed me up a wee bit more than others, and it allowed me to have this moment of just pure release and just to let go of so much anger and so much resentment. Now I still have my moments where I'm a bit annoyed, but since coming back from Bali, I've been practicing every day myself. I've been doing it with yoga with Adriene. Definitely recommend her. She is magnificent. I really like her. I was recommended to her by Sarah from Traveling with Keen and Sarah. I met them a little while. You would have seen them on my Instagram and videos and whatever. So I found Adriene from Sarah. I was chatting to her and I started to do it, and I did the 30-day revolution or 31-day revolution playlist, and I'm now working my way through the boot camp playlist, and it has really helped my head, as well as I am definitely getting stronger. So there's that. I'm not necessarily doing cardio to lose weight at the minute, but I'm getting stronger. My body is moving a lot better. I don't have a pain in my knee. I haven't had a pain in my knee since a wee while after we were in Bali, or before we left Bali. I stopped having pain in my right knee. I would have had pain daily with my right knee. I don't have that, which is magnificent. That's where my knee is worn and it rubs, so it's quite painful. But it's a lot better. I actually don't have any pain with it. So my body is starting to strengthen up and tone up, and particularly my shoulders, I can feel it, and my core is starting to engage again. It's taken a wee while for that because I don't know, it's just taken a wee while because I've put on that weight, and I've only sort of recently went, I need to stop doing that. So I'm really focusing in on my core and pulling everything in where it should when I'm doing the exercises and etc. that require it. But like I said, it's also helping my head because I'm focusing on breathing and letting go, and there's certain movements etc. that you put your body through that allow you to heal, which sounds very naff. I am aware it's ridiculous, but it works. So really recommend finding a yoga class that is run by a good instructor. If there's the ability to go to a studio that's dedicated to it, even better, because you're bound to find an instructor within all of the instructors that you connect with, and that opens that up for you. But try out a few different classes. You don't have to go to one class and go back every time, but find a class that works for you, and then you can, like I said, you can always practice at home with the likes of Yoga with Adriene. Definitely recommend her. She's one of the best that I've gone to over the years or watched over the years. She's very good. Also on the strong mind thing, I'm waffling, I'm aware, but also on the strong mind thing, I've started to meditate, and I started to meditate when I was in Bali towards the end, and I got a really good book. It's called The Mindfulness Journal, and it has lots of different practical exercises for you and lots of different ways of helping you through certain situations. So like for when you're having to commute and you get agitated with people, or if you know you're having a shower and you want to meditate while you're in the shower. Yep, because you know not all of us have time to sit down for 20 minutes and meditate. But it's ways of engaging your brain in a meditative state while you're going through your day. So it's being more mindful of your day. And I really like it. It was a good initiator for me. And to be honest, I don't need anything fancy to meditate. I just sit with the timer on my phone. Now some people use various apps, etc. You don't need them. If you don't want to get them, you don't need them. I literally just set a timer on my phone, and then I sit quietly. I would sit upright, I would sit in a comfortable position, I would sit or lie down, depending how I'm feeling, and I focus on like a black dot on the back of the inside of my forehead. On the inside of my forehead, not the back of the inside of my forehead. You know what I mean, people. But on the inside of my forehead, I focus on just a black dot, or some people call it, you know, you can focus on your third eye, whatever works for you. But it has made a world of difference just spending, I can now meditate for about 10 minutes. I used to do about 3 minutes, and that was a long time, like a really long time. Now I can happily do 10 minutes. And it is just a case of various thoughts will come up. That's a given. Don't be angry with yourself about it, it's fine. We're all human, hello. So you just let go of that. So your thought will come up, you're like, okay, that's fine. And then you go back to focusing up here again. And you know, you take your focus back from that. So it's not that you're dismissing it as such, you're just like, okay, and going back to focusing here. So that's how it works for me. And it works really well. And it's just magic. Because I generally am a bit stressy sometimes, because when I have loads of work on and I've just taken on new clients, hooray! But also more work, whoo! So I need to be aware of that, and I need to not let myself get really wound up and stressed, and know that I can manage it. And a way of dealing with that is to meditate and to just give myself that wee bit of time to get my brain in a good place before starting my day. I tend to do it in the morning if I can. Now I don't do it every single day. I do try and do it every single day, but there will be the odd day I miss, or I've been known to miss a few days in a row. Generally after about 3 days, I start to, on the 4th day I'll be agitated or whatever, and then I'm like, what is, I've not actually taken the time to sit down and get my head straight. So yeah, I try and do it every day if I can. And I get excited when I do every day I can, because my head's all, yay! So there's that. So what are we doing? More yoga every day. I've also started to go for walks with my husband in a bit to get my body moving more. So every evening when he gets in from work, I take him out for a walk. Sounds like I'm taking the dog for a walk, but it's just to get my body moving more. And he's happy enough to come along with me, which is good. But I am going to have to start adding in some cardio. And I was doing the Pop Sugar videos before I went away, and they're really good. But I struggle, the reason I keep doing playlists with Yoga with Adriene is because, you know, I've got a set, it's like a routine or a series I have to complete. I don't have that with Pop Sugar, so maybe I need to investigate their playlists. I need some good cardio, like dancing, but I can't do Irish dancing at the minute because it's just not feasible. But some form of dancing would be good. Lots of energy, maybe some Zumba. If you know of a good Zumba online channel, let me know. Or any kind of dancing and movement and buoyant and woohoo-ness. That would be really good. Let me know, let me know, let me know. But yes, what's the point of this video? What am I trying to achieve here? I just wanted to chat to you about where I'm at, and that my brain and my head is getting stronger, and this is how I'm doing it. I'm doing it with meditation and with yoga. My body is definitely getting stronger. Again, that's very much down to my yoga. Also spending time outside again in the sunshine. Whenever the sun is out, I tend to get outside and do my yoga as much as possible. Although recently discovered that people could overlook me when I'm doing it, so I probably look a bit weird, and I felt a wee bit weird, so I came back in. But yeah, yoga, meditation, woohoo, high fives is the way forward. More walking. Are you on a weight loss journey? Are you in a similar position in regards to where's your head at? I'd love to know what you do to keep yourself right. I have lots of things and tips and tricks and things that I rely on to keep my head straight, but meditating again has really helped lately, as has yoga. So those are my main things for you. If you have a messy head like me, or if you're just generally stressed out a lot, or if you feel you can't cope, or if you just, there's so much on, don't know what to do, all that kind of anxiety, like people, there's a lot of people who say that they have anxiety now as well, and not saying that you don't have anxiety, but sometimes it's just a bit, you're stressed out, which is different. You're just overwhelmed, which is different. So I think spending the time to meditate and to get your head straight does all manner of good. Does all manner of good. And I'm trying to be more stoic, because I used to flip out. So I'm trying to be more stoic as well, which is good. Rather than react, I'm trying to just take a deep breath and just go, okay, so how am I going to deal with this? Rather than, oh my god, the world's ending and terrible things are happening. So yes, more stoicism. Stoicism? There's a word. Anyway, I'm waffling. I just fancied a bit of a chat about being healthy and strong and stuff, and I'm going to give you an update in like a month, depending how, no, not depending, but to tell you how I've got on and what else I've been doing. I may come back sooner if something exciting happens, but maybe if you want to see some of the things that I find most useful, we can talk about it next time. Or if you want to share what you do, let me know. I'm going to my first gong bath soon. Google that. It's gonna be fun. I'm trying out all sorts of stuff lately. I probably have some more revelations coming in the next few months, but I'll tell you about those then. For now, I'm going to shoot away on. Thanks a million for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please tell all your friends, subscribe and hit that little bell button, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye!